afternoon, good morning, good evening. We have people from all over the world. Welcome to King's Counsel and Trust February Town Hall gathering. This is our opportunity to come together as a community, get some of the latest updates, collaborate, and really, we've got some exciting news today. We're going to be diving in deeper on one of the key benefits that we have for individuals that are playing with us. So really excited about that today. Those of you that were not available last month, we had a really powerful conversation about securing your legacy in 2024. I wanted to make sure that if you didn't see that for some reason, I'm going to drop it in the chat. Those of you that may be watching the replay, you can access it on the King's Counsel and Trust YouTube channel. We got some great feedback that these were some of the essentials that we think, we want to make sure that you guys all know about. Many of you know, here's some of the ways that we serve the world and serve others. Today's agenda, we're going to go through the KCT mission and vision real quick. Health Minute with Larry Tyler. Super excited. Today we're going to be talking about eliminating cancer. Slight Edge financial update, which we have a really cool video and more. Also featuring, we're going to be talking about our power partners today, and we have a big U there because we'd love to see you there. Also giving interest in our strategic philanthropy statement and some of the upcoming events. And we are going to open it up for Q&A. Please, if you have questions, you don't have to wait till the very end. At the very bottom of Zoom on the toolbar, there is a feature to where you can put in questions there, or you can go ahead and just type it in the chat. It's nice when we're sharing things, if something comes up, we may be able to answer you right there on the spot, but we are going to open up for Q&A. Because of what we have in the agenda, we are going to be opening up in the Q&A and doing more of an open breakout room, I guess, than we normally would do. So just to give you a heads up. So I would love, one of the things we're going to be talking about today is the power partner piece. And in the power partner piece, one of the core things that we do is we help you identify your personal mission and vision. Part of why we show this every time when we do the town halls, it's just to help align with this mission and vision. This is why we're here, right? We're here to syndicate social impact ventures that bring people together with passion and purpose, whose priorities and practices are to pray, prepare, participate, partner, and prosper together. So if you have a mission and vision statement, would love you to put it in, or maybe next month if you're not ready. I think this is really, really one of the core things that we love working with people to identify. So Larry, would you please lead us in the invocation and prayer?
Sure. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for bringing us together as a family, as a community, and we know that you are all about family and relationships. And we just lift up this family to you. We ask and invite your Holy Spirit to speak to our hearts and our minds today about some of these important topics. We just praise you and bless you. And we thank you, Father, that in your word, you have promised that health and wealth and prosperity, and we just claim these promises. You have said that in your word in 1 Peter 2:24, that by your stripes, Jesus, we are healed. And we just declare and decree health for everyone in this family in Jesus' name. Amen.
I'm going to bounce around on the agenda. I just want to talk a little bit about last month we did our family love letter event. How many of you guys attended that experience? This is one of the core things that we do with our power partners. We opened it up. All of our partners got to attend for free, and anybody that wanted to pay to participate could join. Well, we have our next one scheduled for next month. This is dealing with the given interest in creating your strategic philanthropy statement. And this is, I have to say, I'm super excited about this piece because when I first did this, it really helped me get clear on my purpose, my mission, my vision, and who am I here to serve. If you haven't been to Dale's LinkedIn, he has it there at the top, but I just want to read this to you. And this is what people will be working on and creating in that. A lot of times people think giving interest is just about giving money, right? And really we do time, talent, treasures. Taylor, you call it the 5 T's. Can you tell us the 5 T's real quick? I'm putting you on the spot.
Sure. Time and talent. One of those hopefully obvious ones by now, but those two T, to the extent that we get those right, determine our treasure principle. That's number 3. But what's that for? It's usually not to be a self-serving purpose. It's usually to have an impact. And our impact is a function of how well we take care of our temple. Number 4. And to the degree that we get the first 4 right, determines our impact and what we say and how many people we get to touch. And that's the 5th one. 5 T's: time, talent, treasure, temple, and touch.
Thank you, Dale. And so we have that coming up March 26th, 12 to 2. I did put the link in there if you want to learn more, register. And again, I made a note, if you are an active power partner, please let me know and I'll send you a different link privately here on the chat. So I am really super excited about today's topic because this is something that I don't know what the stats are today, but I know that there's used to be like every 2 out of 4 people have this challenge, the big C word, or in their life or somebody that they know. And so today, Larry's going to be talking about eliminating cancer.
Well, welcome back to this Health Minute. Again, we're looking at keys or information to a healthy life. Has anybody ever tried to or attempted to open a door without a handle or a latch? It's almost impossible. Well, what we are attempting to do is using that as a metaphor, is giving you a handle, giving you a latch or a doorknob, so to speak, to go deeper, something practical to delve into on some of these health issues. And after I finish or during while I'm talking, someone will put a link to a folder, and it's got a lot of good information in there, some book reviews, some MP4s, and there's actually 2 videos from a well-known speaker talking about cancer and how to eliminate that. So we've each been given a destiny, a book or scroll, according to what the Bible says. And in this family, this community, KCT family and community, we want to see everyone fulfill their destiny in good health. And so the context for this whole series, and which started in August, is about fulfilling your destiny in good health. In August, when we started this, I brought forth this book, Radical Remission. Kelly Turner was a graduate student, and she would end up going around the world researching, talking to people that had been in and through radical remission for a number of years and discovered some very fascinating facts. She talked to about 1,500 people, and these people, both health practitioners and those had been through cancer and now had remission, they had about 75, I'll say, protocols or things they did to put them through remission and stay in remission. And all the people had, they used different things, but these 9 were in common. And so I'm hoping that you will take a screenshot of this. But I found in talking to customers in my line of work, these things make a difference in anybody's life, regardless of the situation. So I'm hoping that you will I invite you to take a good look at that and study that. This particular doctor, it was kind of interesting that this statement I found in his book, that he was diagnosed with brain cancer at 31 years old, and he was very skeptical of anything, which is true, as we've seen in the last couple of years, of the well-known traditional Western therapeutic approaches. But as he drilled down into the science and looked at the studies, he began to realize that it was, without optimizing the terrain, your bio gut, from the hair down to where where you eliminate is how you can really help prevent cancer in your life. This is a quote by him that I think is very relative to this situation. If you want to win the battle raging within your body against the powerful army that is cancer, cut off the supply lines. And in my study and research, when I got into this about 10 years ago, because of so many people that I was surrounded by, had cancer, was in the midst of it, and autoimmune disease. So I felt led to invest a lot of time and a lot of money in gathering resources to share with people to help them, whatever disease they were going through. This is a very worthwhile book I came across about 10 years ago by Anita Moorjani. It's a thin book, and I highly recommend it. It's her journey where she actually crossed over into death and came back because she felt so much love as she crossed over that she wanted to be healed and then share her experience with others that are online. That I'd recommend that as well. So back to you, Shannon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Larry. And so we have a awesome video for the next part. This is going to be opening up to the financial edge segment with Dale Collier. And so it's don't tell people what you know, keep them poor.
Do the rich people cringe and say, don't tell them that, Robert?
Yes. Don't tell people what you know. Right. Keep them poor. The moment I pay you, you think like an employee. The moment you accept the paycheck, your brain goes dead. That's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free. As long as you're hungry, you'll think. The school system was designed to teach you to be an employee or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. The poor will always be amongst us because it starts up here. It's in their words, and the words become flesh. But when they say, I can't afford it or I can't do that, they go down. They become what they say. And I meet so many people, I can't afford it. You think I'm made of money? My PhD daddy says, what do you think I am, made of money? I can't afford that. And my rich dad would say, that's why he's poor. Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape. It's an escape, you know what I mean? It's easy to say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. When you could go to the gym. No, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
And your rich dad used to say what instead of, I can't afford it?
How can I afford it? How can I do that? A question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say, I can't afford it, the mind shuts down, and you become what you say. People right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing. It was probably taught to you. Your superego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever. Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families.
And until you change your mindset,
Correct.
Money won't help you, right?
Correct.
And we see that with people that win the lottery, people that make more money, they still have the same problem.
Right.
Because they have that poor man's soul.
Correct. If you're poor, you'll always be poor.
That's really hard for people to
Yeah,
understand.
the money will disappear that fast. Just like most pro athletes, they make millions of dollars, and what 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically. That's the frightening thing. If you don't want to learn it, I can't help you. I have bad luck too. I've had financial crashes. I've had people stab me in the back, but they're all good because I grow from it. And that's spirituality. People who are afraid of making mistakes, like they teach in school, they don't ever grow. Because spirituality is there's good and there's bad, there's right and there's wrong, there's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right, they only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that, that's not reality. And the average person, the reason they're poor is they haven't failed. They play it so safe, they haven't made any mistakes like they taught in school. That means they don't learn anything. That's why the school system's actually fundamentally corrupt. It's anti-education. But the average guy is standing there, oh, I'm an A student, I'm going to do this all on myself, and a bunch of rugby players run you over, and you go, well, they're not playing fair. And what, you're playing stupid. You should have a team. You should have accountants, attorneys, and bankers and all that stuff. But that's not the game I want to play. I said, then don't play the game. You know, the game of business is played with accountants, attorneys, bankers, hate to say it, politicians. You know, you got to know the game. You know, people say, well, money is not that important to me. Then if money is not that important to you, money is not important to you. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't care about money. The money doesn't care about you. You know, the word does become flesh. Or I'll never be rich. Or the favorite one is the rich are greedy. It's the poor that are greedy. You know, if you think about it, because to be rich, you have to give something. You know, I have to produce books and games, and I purchase real estate, I provide housing, provide jobs and all that. That's why I'm rich. But greedy people produce nothing. You know, Einstein said, you know, imagination is more important than knowledge, but knowledge empowers imagination. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody. You see, most teachers in school, they're out of ethics. They teach subjects they themselves don't practice. Because I understood what a fake teacher is. A fake teacher is somebody who just wants a job and they'll teach anything. You know, they teach how to shine shoes and get paid more money. But they really don't know what they're teaching. In life, one of the things I suggest to people, you got to find a real teacher versus a fake teacher. And a fake teacher is somebody who doesn't do what they teach. And a real teacher is doing what they teach every day. Our school systems are making our students weaker. So in school, they have these things called now trigger effects. So you can't, as a teacher, you can't say anything that might upset the student. They don't want anything that might jar their point of view. You see people say, well, why don't you give the poor money? So the only problem with that is it just creates more poor people.
Give a man a fish, he fishes for the day, or eats for the day.
Yeah, you give a man a fish, you get a lot of people who want more fish, you know. Well, you teach them to fish. We become creatures of our own habits. And until we break the habit, we don't change. Our schools don't teach that. Our schools teach almost the exact opposite of that. And the average person, the reason they're poor is they haven't failed. You know, they play it so safe. They haven't made any mistakes like they taught in school. That means they don't learn anything. That's why the school system's actually fundamentally corrupt. It's anti-education. So what I say to young people is, you find your game. So my game financially is business, number one. Second is real estate. And that's why I pay no taxes. That's why Trump pays no taxes. Legally, it's a combination of business and real estate that gives us an unfair advantage over employees, because they don't know what to do. And a lot of people would rather sit in the stands than be in the game. One of the greatest ways to acquire great wealth is playing Monopoly in real life. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. But is that all there is? That's it.
Robert, if I could give you some kind of a magic phone and you could make a call to the 20-year-old Robert Kiyosaki and give that young man a bit of advice, what would you tell him?
I would just say keep going. Just do what you have to do. Just, you know, live it to the fullest, which I did. Nothing I ever did made sense. Now, could you imagine quitting a $120,000 a year job for $200 a month to go fight in Vietnam and almost die? It didn't make sense, but it was the best decision I made at that time. And I think what most people do is they let their parents or their friends talk them out of life. So afraid of failing. But failing is how we succeed. You look at guys like Edison and all that. They failed like 1,014 times before he invented the light bulb. You know, our schools punish you for making mistakes. And that's why we have so many people who are so afraid of admitting they make mistakes or afraid of failing.
Right on. So what does all that have to do with why we're here today? It has everything to do with our first town hall and subsequently our first leaving a legacy family love letter discussion. And throughout the rest of this year, that's the theme. It should all kind of come back to, what does the end look like in mind? And if that's not working, what's going to change? Who's going to change? And more importantly, up here, what's going to change? You know, as Robert Kiyosaki said, you know, if you're not willing to learn some of the new things, I can't help you. Well, the same thing kind of applies here. And so to get right into the financial edge discussion, to use the rich dad, poor dad, cash flow quadrant perspective, hopefully everybody understands that. But quadrant number one is the employee. Quadrant number one is the employee. They have one customer. That's their employer. As we heard, that's more of the safety of having the regular cash flow, the regular paycheck, the regular benefit, the regular. Not a lot of up and down and uncertainty in that, except you may get laid off and now you no longer have a customer. But did you know that that quadrant is the highest taxed of all of the four? Let that sink in a second. The price an employee pays for the certainty, the consistency, for the lack of responsibility to do anything else for anyone else, is that they have to work harder, they have to work longer, and as a result, there's a tax. You can call it a penalty if you choose, but there's a disincentive. In the way the IRS looks at it, there is an incentive to do something else besides remain an employee. You can stay there if you choose to. Just know that your decision after today, for anyone that's listening after the fact, is that lack of knowledge will no longer be an excuse of why you may be struggling financially, paycheck to paycheck. The second category is the self-employed. There you go. Thank you for that. In the lower left, self-employed, you own your job. You may have a few clients. This is still on the poor dad side of the equation, where there's a lot of folks, attorneys, teachers, doctors, et cetera, have a lot of letters after their name. They have a lot of school, but it also applies to the not-for-profit world too, and ministries, first name, last name, law firm, first name, last name, ministry, what have you. When they stop working, the cash stops flowing. Now, there are some incentives for being in that quadrant, and in that case, you get to pay tax on what's left over. Still paying a lot of tax. The tax code was written for business owners. It wasn't written for employees. And so when you take on the additional responsibility and knowledge of what it takes to be in business, be it for-profit or not-for-profit, there's your incentive, because you're no longer taxed at more than double on a pre-tax basis in the employee as you would be in self-employed. But the optimal, really, and this is what we're all looking to do here in terms of mindset, is shifting, and this is where we get to in just a minute, in terms of the safety in the syndication, relationships of trust, is we want to move over to the right side of the cash flow quadrant, ideally that you're a business owner in some way, that the business works without you. And this is why you'll find now that you can no longer do this alone. When you stop working, there's people on your team, you have employees, yes, you have other partners, you have joint venture partners, et cetera, but everybody's working together as a team. And now, as a result of creating those opportunities for other, there's less tax. Less tax than the lower self-employed. And in America, you know, the entrepreneurial spirit is wonderful for this country in terms of opportunities for anyone that chooses to pursue it. But suffice to say, without knowing, it's one thing to know how to make it. It's another thing to know how to keep it. And more than that, it's another thing to know together how to transfer it. Because we only have a short time here on this planet. And what we do with that and how we leave the world as a better place is really up to us. Are we living to our highest and greatest potential? And I would suggest to you that the ultimate investor is really not one that has a variety of business interests, but he's in the lower right-hand quadrant. And this person with the right team and the right strategy and the right structure ultimately can pay no tax. And this is exactly where we invite everyone to look into. What we're having to say here isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It isn't about seeking financial independence as it is seeking financial interdependence. And as such, I just wanted to leave you with that, because to understand, to know that, the tax man is not our enemy. The tax man, at least how it is, the code that's written in this country, is so long as you serve for a commercial purpose, you will be taxed. And to the degree that you provide a social impact or a benefit to others, or popular today is the environment, even, to the degree that you do that so that government really doesn't have to, that's not really their purpose. There's an enormous enough tax incentives that says if you work hard, you actually get to keep more of what you make, because you'll in fact be taxed less. But again, that's only a part of, the entire life journey. And I'll just kind of leave you with that. I hope sincerely that folks that, if they really think about what was covered here today in terms of the mindset, employees, even from the biblical basis, we were never supposed to stay indentured servants. After 7 years, we could work for our freedom. When the West was won and the banks were basically giving to farmers, just plant, that you could work as a crop share to eventually have your own property. You were not supposed to be indentured to the banks. So while it's true that employees are necessary, that was never designed to be get there and stay there. Get what you need to learn, practice, develop a skill, hone a skill, be an apprentice, learn something, but then go out and repeat and create the opportunity for others. And I'm going to suggest that when we talk about becoming a power partner here, isn't so much what we get to get from King's Counsel, it's what we get to do together. We're in this together. And we're really excited about taking this month to hopefully get much more clear about what that means in the various levels of opportunity to becoming of a partner with us. There's strength in numbers, and the bottom line is there's absolute safety in syndication. You don't have to bear the risk yourself. We can share that. We call it shared risk, shared reward, shared expense, shared gain. It's not always about the money. Who do we get to grow up to be, and how are we better together? So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Shannon, if I could. Don't mean to catch you off guard, but I know you've got a lot of show and tell to be able to at least offer some insight what it means to, okay, yes, I've decided to be a partner in one shape or form. What does that mean? How do I get started?
And I just wanted to bring this home for some of you that are listening, is that you may have a project or something that's in your heart that you want help with, right? And it's like when he talks about syndication, it's like, imagine not carrying that burden all on your own. Imagine being able to come to the community and get support, whether it be with your website or whether it be with funding or all of those pieces that really help dreams come true at an accelerated rate. And so we have been working so hard. Thank you, Sam and Michaela and Dev Crew and everybody, to really help build and foster this community. I wanted to share with you, once you become a power partner, what that looks like and the benefit to you. I mean, we really assessed what's working, what's not working, what gets people most excited. And so we feel like getting your house in order is the first base, right? We've got to make sure that we are stable, we're on a foundation, we're solid, because when we have our house in order, we have clarity on our purpose, our mission, knowing ourselves, that taking care of our family, then we can really pour out and become experts for other projects, co-vest, and you can do all those simultaneously, but we really wanted to make it simple for people to join as a power partner and get started right away in getting your house in order. So what happens is, once you get started, and again, to get started, you go to kctfo.com, watch the videos, And then it'll lead you to the next segment about power partners. We want everybody to understand the different language, how it works. And as you become, and then at the very end, you've got a questionnaire. There's even video to help you fill out the questionnaire. And then you book a session to kind of finalize and get started. And so wanted to make this very simple. And as you know, Monday is the platform that we use for all of our projects, Monday and Box. Box is like the vault, and Monday is to organize and to work collaboratively as a community. And so in here, we've made it really simple, right? It's like you're getting started. We've got a welcome video. We've got some Monday training because we want you to be able to learn how to use this tool, especially if you have a project coming up or things that you're working on with KCT. And now we get into the meat of things, getting involved in the community, getting involved in King's Counsel and Trust Family Office. A lot of people are on the outskirts looking at the castle, checking it out. We want to invite you in to come and play. And so in Monday, anytime you see a number, you just open it up and it drops it down. So we've got real simple directions. And once you're done, or if you're working on it, you just click right here. You can go working on it. And when you're complete, you put that you're complete. If you get stuck, as we get down here a little bit further, you can write stuck, and that's actually going to notify us. We'll be able to see that you're stuck and come in and work with you on that particular item. Links to the CQR vault, and the initial thing is really setting up this office, as Dale calls the World Trade Center. This is where you store everything. This is where, this becomes your container. And Dale, do you want to speak on this part for a moment before I go into the next segment? Because I have one and I love it. I love it that, I could be out somewhere and it's like, okay, you need a copy of your passport, but you don't have on it. Or, even business stuff in there because of being a different level power partner. Dale, did you want to talk about this piece for a minute?
Yeah, first and foremost, there's a video with all of this, with a template that each of your personal offices, regardless of kind of what level of play you decide, that allows you to, as you're going through the exercises and you're getting results, where do you keep your results? In many cases where we're asked to be co-advisors on somebody's professional team for their trust, their foundation, their project, their board, and what have you, you still want to keep all your organizational documents in place in case of emergency, key contacts. That includes identifications, everything that you would have in your go bag in terms of important documentation that you need to just get up and go with. It's nice to have a digital backup in the event that you get stuck. I'm just in the bank this morning, didn't have a debit card on me, but because I had a picture of the front and back, I was able to quickly pull it up in terms of the bank, and they're fine. You don't always need the real document, but it's nice to know that you've got in your virtual safety deposit box, if you will, a place to keep things, store things, archive things. I've even gone so far as to say is what we have in Box is really great for those that have really deep, robust, I'll just say architectural drawings, really take up a lot of space and so on and so forth. Wouldn't it be nice to know if your computer crashed, you've got a backup and a reserve of all of those things, The Box system that we choose, or at least still maintain today, we've been using since about 2007. And many of your Fortune 500 use it in one shape or form. It works. It's a tool. If you don't know how to use it, we've got some tutorial videos on that as well, very much like the Monday, because the two platforms very much go hand in hand. They are by no means all that we have to share with you. We manage more than 120 different vendors on a monthly, annualized basis and have access to resources that you may not know exist. We're bringing what is typically reserved in the family office of 5-10 million in terms of net worth, reserved for the upper elite, making available to you. If that's what you're looking for at this point in your life, we encourage you to get in, roll up your sleeves and leverage that, especially after the last couple of years where more and more are working from home or telecommuting in some shape or form. Yeah, it's nice to know we've got something other than some Apple iCloud that, when things are still, not working with Wi-Fi, we can still get stuff done. more on the communications and other things we need to thrive, but those two go hand in hand. And back to you, Shannon. Thanks for the overview.
Yeah, and I just wanted to highlight, Dale is so mindful of your security and your protection that even in your vault, once that's set up, it'll be here. And this is really where you're going to store everything. And my question was, well, could somebody else see it? You know, let's say you decided to add me on your team and I'm helping you go through a particular piece of it. Because this is your exclusive box, nobody else can access that. And so he's really thought of everything as far as protection with collaboration. So thank you, Dale, for keeping all of our pieces together. And so getting to know the family office and how we do things. This is also the foundation of how do we play together? You know, we're coming together in a family, and how do you make the most out of KCT and what we have here? And for me, when I got involved with KCT, I was really looking at the business model, because, you know, most of us that have a business, we don't want to keep doing business the way that we're doing it. And so you really get to look at that, not only for yourself to understand what you're doing and how to play and how to maximize it, but also these are key things that you can look at of like, oh my gosh, these are things that I want to implement in my life and my business. We did last year, and if you did not see this, our rededication event, again, that's on the YouTube channel. Michaela, maybe you can drop that in the chat. We talked a lot about the Declaration of Trust, interdependence. These are the key aspects of KCT. And, you know, how we do things, talk about koinonia, the covenants, covenants versus contracts. And so all of these, again, you'll have links to be able to go directly to. And once you're done, you just mark it complete. Here's the policies and procedures here. And this is just so beautiful how everybody's able to get the rewards, and Dale's created for particular partners, but these are things that you'll be able to learn a little bit more. Impact assessments and frequently asked questions. And so all in one place, this is getting to know KCT Family Office and how we do things. So I just wanted to pause for a minute before I go through these other two, just to see, is there any questions so far about what I've reviewed on those few items?
One comment.
Yes, sir.
We've often been, shall we say, criticized because of our narrow focus for taking a Judeo-Christian biblical perspective on what we do and how we do things. You don't have to believe what we believe. I already know it works. For those that may be a little bit more new age or agnostic or atheist, I think you really got to be a believer in something to believe nothing. But you know, to the Islamic faith, Buddhist, what have you, what's important is to be able that you can define what you believe and why you believe it, because it doesn't mean anything to me. For example, that if you say you're Catholic, what does that mean? Beneath the surface of all of the labels that we've been taught from our parents, from our teachers, are values. It's the why we believe what we believe. And what we get a chance to do if we choose to put ourselves in those boxes, those containers, those labels, we're going to ask you to re-examine that. If you don't really know what that is, some of what Shannon is going to share next is not just for you, but for your spouse as well, and your kids. Because what the end goal for us in mind is, number one, we want to really restore the significance of what the father means to the family unit. And number two is we want to be all inclusive of next generation. That is our succession plan. They got to get it right. And if we do not include them into the why we're doing what we're doing, we're going to continue to see drastic ups and downs of our economy. And case in point with banking, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the major industrials of the last century. You know, why we're seeing systems fail today is because 3 generations later, you've got a bunch of kids that more or less have the employee mindset. They've been living off of mom and dad's or grandmom and dad's dream, but they don't know how to carry that on. They don't know how to grow that. They don't know how to sustain that. They just soon, take the money, sell out and run. That was never the biblical plan. And yet in America, we do. We have free will. We can choose to grow up and do anything we want. But does that really coincide with our purpose and our plan and how all of that fits into Dad's plan? This is something to think about as you're going through this. We're going to ask some questions, offering up assessments after 20 years of doing this, that we found we can ask more probing questions in the first 3 months of getting to know one another than some married couples have been able to unpack in 3 years. If we're going to be your co-advisors and your trustees, we kind of really need to know what your why is and where you're going and who you're doing it with, so as to make the appropriate introductions so that what God puts together stays together. Back to you, Shannon.
So getting to know yourself, confirming your destiny and desire. Are you in the right place? We've got a stewardship supplement. When you dive in here, some of this stuff is just so beautiful and thought out, and really reflecting on who you are and what you're doing here and how you're doing that with your family. This is a fun part, really getting to know yourself. These are various assessments. You heard me talk earlier about developing your own mission and vision, how you communicate with an appreciation, even apologies, core values. These are all key things to get to know yourself, but also allow us to get to know you better. I know as I went through this process, really helped me understand a lot of my strengths and areas that I could contribute much more. Then we get into the interest, which is that workshop that's coming up on March 26th, where we are helping you develop your statement. When you join us, you'll get all the templates. There'll be teaching. We'll actually be completing the statement for yourself. And so when you get in here, you'll be able to write your own statement here for yourself and use it on your LinkedIn, or it becomes a part of you. Which mountain are you? And then in the end, this whole part leads you to our principal profile fact sheet. And Dale, I wish I had your sample up here. I don't, but let me just show you what this looks like. This is what really gets us to know you in the community and some of your strengths, weaknesses, and connect on different levels that we're able to connect with. So based on that initial information of getting to know yourself, this is kind of the finished product of, okay, I have, here it is. Dale, you want to add anything else to this?
One thing on that is when it's all said and done, my desire for each of you is that you become the fourth quadrant ultimate investor. Better than that, doing it together, co-vestor. In order to do that, how do you size up opportunities? When going back to the first two T's, where do you invest your time and your talent? What kind of questions are you asking your potential employer if you're still in quadrant number 1, or if you're in quadrant number 2, who's your ideal client? And ideally in number 3 again, which initiatives do you decide to do or not do? Because we've all been taught it's a function of profit and loss. And I'm going to suggest to you that if we do things according to the biblical way of looking at things, there is no net profit. Profit's a bad word. It's a good word in the jurisdiction of commerce, but it's a bad word in the sense of you've got something left over that you didn't anticipate. Well, maybe you did, but you seem to understand when there's profit, there's tax. And the tax is the vulture that comes onto the scene when you didn't harvest your whole crop. You've got stuff left over and it goes to waste. Done well, your life is going to be reorganized in such a way that 100% of what is planted will be harvested. It's already got a place to go. We don't need any silos to store things up because, I mean, let's face it, there's nothing else in all of creation that stores up for more than one season. For most of us, money has become our God. And that's dangerous. It's a tool. And most of us have no clue how to use those tools. And all we know how to do, especially in America, is get in the habit of self-storage. We buy stuff, we store stuff. We make money, we store money. But most of us, if we're really honest with ourselves, don't know how to pursue opportunities or locate opportunities or ask better questions to reveal opportunities that gives us a true potential of outpacing inflation, consumer index adjustments, and so on and so forth. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If we're not looking to, on a gross, to do better than 20% annualized rate of return, return on cash, return on assets, return on our time and our talents, I'm going to suggest to you that it's still a slow death. You're going backwards. We don't even look at things that don't have that upside potential. And most things, if we are honest about what the world's shown us, we're okay with, CD rates and bank rates and interest and checking and things like that of single digits. That's not okay with me. For some of us with retirement plans, we're okay with the Standard & Poor's 500 index. We're okay with many index, very passive, just put your money here and making maybe upper single, maybe double digits. But the folks that are really, pardon the phrase, really killing it is in private equity. They're not doing it in the public markets. The wealthy don't have the majority of their wealth in the public markets. There's too many risk factors, too many things beyond their control. And it's only in the private space, for which we are also organized as a private member association, that we have the greatest opportunities to come together, combine our talents. We call that stone soup. For some that don't know the metaphor, and simply do better together. Back to you, Shane.
Great. It's really fascinating because, Dale, as I'm hearing you, I realized that we forgot to talk about your personal strategic philanthropy statement, and it really shows a lot in what you're sharing now. He says, I feel strongly about helping cause related to men and economic developments that specifically address the need of men aged 25 to 65 and the leaders of countries who need the help with financial literacy and execution of economic opportunities. Yes, stewardship. I envision filling my philanthropic goals with a faith-based ministry that is multidisciplinary, oriented, entrepreneurial, innovative nature, and whose area of influence is global in scope. And so as Dale's talking, you're hearing, like the financial, the ecosystem, and on the feminine side of it, I'm going, this is like getting your house in order. If something happened to you today, how are you leaving your family? Is it in order? How are you training your kids to be able to take care of things as they build it? I know, Sam, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. Sam came to the family love letter and he's thinking, oh, I'm young and that. And then once he got in there, he's like, wow, these are really, these are important things, even at a younger age, to be able to do that. So preparing your virtual office, here's some of the basics. Family love letter. They've got a great family steward process in case of emergency. Other documents, again, you have that private folder in the vault and various pieces that go along in here. Family member collateral, this is a family office. You can put all of your pieces in there. And then we have other resources. So this is the first part, but this is only the beginning of being involved with KCT, right? Because then it's like, okay, I'm ready to do what Dale says. I'm ready to go co-vest. I need help getting this venture off the ground. I want to allocate my 5 T's. And so then we have another grouping that gets you ready in those various phases. You'll be able to get positioned as an expert within our community for projects. There's key points in there on how to really get your business ready to receive. Also how to co-vest and a lot of the financial pieces. And then I'm going to add the last piece and open up for questions. Right now, we are working on this year launching our own community where you're able to the message, collaborate, access a lot of the resources that the family office has that helps you with the financials, helps you with tax-free road, and helps you with the various aspects of managing your family and certain things that are happening in the world. So I'm super excited about that. Sam, I love working with you on all of these things to really foster this community and help everybody navigate what's happening in the world. I'm going to just open up for any final questions about, it could be what Dale talked about, Larry talked about, Power Partners.
Okay, question.
Go, okay.
Okay, so the website is the kctfo.mymonday.com. Go there, log in, create the account, blah, 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 blah.
To become a
partner?
power partner, you need to go to kctfo.com and go
Yeah.
through the video process, which I believe you and Carol have done most of that.
Yeah.
Yep. And then at the end, there's a questionnaire, which I didn't see yesterday that you guys have filled that out. Once you fill that out, then
Okay,
you book a time with somebody on the team that will meet with you to get you registered and signed up.
I have to check on that again then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I think, any closing remarks?
One thing in terms of perspective, I don't know if anyone plays golf here. Bear with me. It's a golf season coming up. It'll be on TV for those that follow your favorite players. There's one thing about a country club that's often interesting, because they often find that the people that get involved in a club, they don't do everything together. Some people are into the pools and the parties and the food. Some people are into tennis. Some people are into golf. But membership is just that. You have access to everything. You haven't done anything yet. So think of membership as just gaining access. Second thing is subscription. Subscription is really that subcategory of membership that gives you one option or another to be more focused in the tennis, or in this case, the golf. And one thing for sure that if you play golf as a foursome, is that every other of the three members that are on the tee with you, they've all done what it takes to get there. They've covered the price of admission. Money aside, more than that, and especially some of the, I'll just say, more private matters that we discuss, we all have confidentiality and really take our privacy and security serious here. And you should feel pretty safe that regardless of who you end up on the tee with and play with, that we've done the basics. And because you've done your work, that every one of those other three feels that certain degree of confidence, that prerequisite work. We've all done the work, and we've earned the right to be there and play together. I hope everyone sincerely finds that as a benefit. I don't know how to put a price on that. I do know in the journey of becoming a self-made millionaire that your average self-made millionaire goes bankrupt twice. They typically go through one or more divorces, broken homes, lost retirement plan. I don't know how to put a price on preventing bankruptcy or preventing a divorce or a broken family. You see? So for those that may be asking, well, what's the financial benefit? This is impact. I don't know how to put a price on things. And so I'm going to invite you to start thinking in terms of metrics, that success is not defined by dollars and cents, what we've all been taught up to now, but something much, much more valuable that's priceless. My hugs aren't for sale, by the way.
They're free.
Shannon, just a practical question there about the Monday site.
Yes, sir.
That's the first I've heard of it, actually. And is there, so you just go to that site, is there any like login information or
Yeah,
anything?
so
like that?
I'm telling you, we were up until 2 a.m. last night, putting the final touches to this. So you're getting the.
Oh, is it brand new? Okay.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
We've had the box, we've had all these pieces, but we wanted to put it in a container that makes it easy to digest and simple to follow. So I do know that you will be, because you are a corrected active power partner. So this is one of the things that we'll get set up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. All right, with that, I feel so honored and grateful to have been able to go through this process of helping get my house in order and be here to serve and support this mission and vision and do it together and various projects that you bring here, Dale and Thomas and Larry. And so that's my final remark. Thank you for creating this container that we can grow together.
Well, one last thing before we break. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Take care of your sweeties. Don't forget. Keep it simple. Some of the most memorable, I think, gifts really come through experiences. And why I bring that up is because what we're doing, what we're proposing to do with you all in some shape or form is have an experiential learning. You got to know it all before you get started. You know, it's come on in, the water's fine. We'll teach you how to swim, as the case may be, or dive, or whatever your thing is, and it's okay. And I'll just leave you with this: if you ever get to the point where you're not comfortable sharing with someone else, we need to hear about it, because the safety and the privacy of this community is paramount. And I don't know how to put a price on that, as much as to say, I know we can get stuff done when we all know that it's safe. At the bottom rung of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, especially for women, the safety, security, shelter, those kind of things, we got to have it. We can't move to love and go above until we take care of the basics. So at the core, this is our foundation. Welcome aboard for all those that lean in, and happy Valentine's Day if you celebrate that kind of thing tomorrow. And we'll see you next month, and another several proposed courses throughout the year that are all designed in a master's course to tie it all together. We've got anticipated coursework for the next 3 years. More on that another time. The next one is developing the strategic philanthropy, your personal giving interest inventory, and see how you're showing up. And I might add how you can use that. Shannon just read mine, I think maybe off LinkedIn. Watch what happens when you take the result of that exercise and put that on your LinkedIn, and who's going to start showing up and say, I never knew that about you. You tell me more, and so on and so forth. But when when all of us, we start to put those statements together, now we start to look like a cohesive unit. The only thing that's really changed in terms of the brand, as it were, would be kind of like the name or the number on our jersey. But what makes us unique is those individual statements. And so hopefully can see you all there pretty soon, and we can kind of roll up our sleeves and get that one done. Thank you all for your playing here today. I appreciate you. God bless.